Hey everyone, so let us talk about this lead code problem, sort colors. So you are given an array nums with n objects colored red, white or blue. We need to sort them in place so that objects of the same color are adjacent with the colors in the order red, white and blue. And over here the colors are represented with numbers 0, 1 and 2. Okay, so basically what the idea is, our nums array will always have numbers either 0, 1 or 2, and then we need to rearrange it in a sorted manner with all the zeros towards the left, followed by 1 and followed by 2. Also, we are not allowed to use the inbuilt sort function. If we were to just sort this using the JavaScript sort function, it would just update the array in place and we would get the solution. But we are not allowed to use the sort function. Okay. So there are multiple ways of solving this. Let's just talk about two solutions over here. So let's say you have this array 2, 0, 1, 1, 0, 2, comma 2. Okay. So what we can do is we can traverse this array, find the count of zeros. So over here the count of zeros is 2, then the count of 1 is 2, and the count of 2 is 3. So the moment you get the count, then what we can do is we can again loop through this and then fill up this nums array itself with two zeros over here, followed by two ones, and followed by three twos. Okay, so that we can get the solution. So this would basically will have to run two for loops over here. First one to get the count, and the second one to fill up the array. And we'll write the code for it. Another solution is over here. Let's just delete this. Another solution over here is to have two variables. Let's say low and high, which would basically represent 0 and high would represent 2, and anything in between would be 1. And we'll have a a pointer I, which we will traverse from left to right. So we'll be just traversing this pointer I from left to right. And if on the ith index we have found a 0, we'll replace it with the value which is there on the index low over here. So this is the index and high is also an index over here. So basically high is going to be low is going to be 0 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And high is going to be 6 over here. Okay. So the moment you find 0, what you do is you traverse the array on the I pointer. Okay. And when you find 0 over here, you replace it with the low value. Okay. So what happens is this becomes 0, then 2. So this is now low at present, and this was I over here. Okay, so when you find I equal to 0, what you do is you replace it with the uh, index low. So low is 0th index. Okay, and then you increment low to 1. So the low is keeping track of the zeros. Okay, and when you find 2, what you do is you replace it with the value on the high over here. So you replace it with 2 over here. Okay, and then you decrement the value of high, which becomes 5. Okay, so low takes care of all the zeros, high takes care of all the twos, and if we get 1, then we just leave it. We just increment the value of I. Okay, so let's just write the code and see how it looks for both the solutions. Okay, so first we'll uh, write a code wherein we traverse this array, find the counts of zeros, ones, and twos, and then refill the array based on the counts. Okay, so let's say you have count equal to, so this count is going to be a array of numbers which will be of size 3, okay, because we want to take care of the indices. Okay, so what is happening here is 0, there are 3 elements in this array. The zeroth index is going to take care of the count of all the zeros. The first index is going to take care of count of all the ones, followed by 2, second index, which is going to take care of count of all the twos. So for, we'll run the for loop. So for let I equal to 0, I less than nums dot length I plus plus I plus plus. Okay. So what we'll say is we'll say count of nums of I over here and we'll increment its value. So initially the value is 0. Okay. We come nums of 0 which is 2. Okay. So count of 2 over here will be incremented by 1. So this will become 1 on the first iteration if you consider this example. Similarly, we go to the next iteration I is equal to 1. So nums of I is 0. So count on the 0th index will be incremented by 1. Okay. So this is going to basically give us a frequency array. Now we need to update our nums array. So what we can do is we can say let I equal to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus. We will be looping through this count array, but we know that we have only three elements, 0, 1. We can have only three elements, 0, 1 or 2. Okay. So we'll be running a loop three times on this count array, and for each items, so while count of 0 is less than 0. Okay, over here, assuming that uh, we have two zeros over here. So while count of I, which count of I is going to be 2, if you consider this example. Okay, so we'll be running a loop two times, and then what we'll do is we'll just we can have a counter over here. We'll call it x. Okay, so nums of x plus plus is going to be equal to I. Okay, so for two times nums of 0 is going to be 0, then nums of 1 is going to be 0. Then it comes over here, I is equal to 1. Okay, so then over here I is value of count of 1 is 2. So it will run, this while loop will run two times, and it will increment on the nums of, because you're using x plus plus, so you are incrementing the counter of x over here. So basically this entire thing will run for the length of the nums array. Okay, and we don't have to return anything. So let's just run this on the test cases. Okay, so we've got acceptance on the test cases. We'll submit this. Okay, so we've got an acceptance on the solution. Okay, so now let's run look at the second X solution. Okay, wherein we are just running this loop just once, and we are using pointers low, high, and the I. So low is going to take care of all the zeros, high is going to take care of all the twos, and I is going to be a pointer that is going to traverse the array. Okay, so let low is equal to 0. Basically, low and high are the indices. let high equal to nums dot length minus 1, let I equal to 0. So while I is less than equal to high, okay, if nums of I is equal to 0. So we have found a 0 over here. What we need to do is we need to exchange the values on the low indice, okay, and then increment the value of low and increment the value of I. So basically we'll be incrementing the value of low, we'll be incrementing the value of I over here, okay, but before that we'll be exchanging the values. So we'll be swapping. So what we can do is we can say nums of low, comma nums of I is equal to nums of I, comma nums of low. So basically this is just going to swap you without using the temporary variable. Okay. Else if nums of I is equal to 1. That means we don't have to do anything. We'll just increment the value of I. We just go to the next value. Else what we need to do is we need to swap the values with high. So we say nums of high, comma nums of I is equal to nums of I, comma nums of high. And we need to decrement the value of high. Okay. So basically we are swapping the values and we are putting all the twos towards the right. We are putting over here, we are putting all the zeros towards the left because low is going to take care of all the zeros, high is going to take care of all the ones, and I is just going to traverse. And one will just keep where it is. Okay, so let's just run this on the test cases. Okay, so we got an acceptance and let's submit it. Okay, so we've got an acceptance on this solution. So these were the two solutions that we used to solve this problem. Okay, without using the sort function. First one was to get the counts of all the zeros, the twos, the ones and the twos, and then rewrite the nums array based on our count. And the second one was to just use a single for loop, use two pointers low and high. Low is going to take care of all the zeros, high is going to take care of all the twos, and I is going to be the one which is going to help us exchange the values between 0 and the lows, I mean between the lows and the highs. All right.